where were we? I have the list here of questions. Um, this is a question that I ask everybody, but this doesn't necessarily mean like in terms of money or fame or anything like that. But for example, why have you been doing this for so long? And the question is, when was the first time that you thought that the hard work is starting to pay off? And of course, you can name several points if there has been on your career.
Well, naturally, it would be really easy to say the point that when I joined the Turmion Kätilöt and when everything went like a really, really big. And those were the times when I quit my normal day job and became like a full-time artist. That is, well, easily that is one of the biggest changes in my life as well. But before that, I think it was some of festival shows like a Myötätuuli Rock or something like that with Fear of Domination. We were doing our own headline things. Or Metal Orgy, when we had like a nearly sold out Nosturi and everybody is chanting our name, and all those moments just before the show when you can already hear that the people are roaming on our name.
Yeah.
It really gives the feeling that, okay, we have achieved something. All those big shows, even before I joined the Turmion Kätilöt, all those big moments. And well, like I said, that when we talk about the first really produced album like this, Distorted Delusions, when it came out and got really, really good feedback, and we did even get some chart positions, and well, all the numbers basically went really, really up. And we started to do things as a more like a real band, with more like a planning and more like thinking why and where we are doing this. And we had our first shows outside of Finland, and things like that started to happen. Those were also the moments when I really thought of it, like, wow, this is it. Now we are getting where we are wanting to go. Because like I said before that, nobody told us anything. We didn't basically knew anything. We just had to find out everything about ourselves. So it really started to pay off that you can just like basically start from scratch, from the point zero, and get to the point that you are touring outside of Finland.
Yeah. So your first foreign tour was with Fear of Domination.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did that go? And
that was a crazy tour. It was a good one. We drove through the Estonia and went to the Central Europe with a band called Hansel and Gretel, and did shows around the Central Europe. It was really fun, but it's more like every band is telling their first tour stories. So it was more like a one dusty van full of people, not so much of a personal space or anything. And yeah, it was like a more crappy in a way, of course, but still it's like one of the coolest moments of my life.
Yeah, and I think that like each person that I have been talking about first tours with, or first foreign tours, like Johan from Amaranth, for example, he said that Jake and Elise from were in the tour bus because they were touring with Camelot, and they were also part of that band. But the rest of the band was in a Toyota Avensis or something like that, and they slept in it or in a hotel or anything like that. But I would imagine that with you also, it was a tiring experience, but something that you just don't want to miss, like the first tour, once in a lifetime experience, to experience all of those things for the first time.
Yeah, and now when I'm a little bit older and have been doing this a little bit more, I'm also doing some teaching and lessons and seminars for band classes around the Finland for youngsters, how like start up the band or what are those things to like I said before that we didn't have anybody telling us what to do. So basically I'm trying or hoping that I can give some hints or help for the youngsters what to do or what kind of ideas they should be thinking of.
Yeah.
And in the terms of a band developing, or terms of when talking about band growing or the band members growing as a band or artists, I think it's crucial to have like one of those Toyota Avensis tours.
Yeah. to kind of evolve above that step, you need to have that step
Yeah,
involved in the process.
yeah, you have, it's like a natural step before those nightliners and buses.
Yeah. But was your then first tour bus tour in Europe with Turmion Kätilöt then, or?
Yeah, like a proper longer tour, it was with the Turmion Kätilöt.
Yeah.
We had like some like fly there shows, but not like a real tours. I think it was with Turmion Kätilöt and Beast in Black then.
Yeah.
Then we were like 2 weeks on a nightliner.
So how did that feel? That kind of tour?
Well,
after
that's like
your first one.
it sure was like a really big improvement to the first one. So
Yeah.
we had own cabins and own beds and everything like that there. And we had a little bit own personal space at least.
Yeah.
There weren't any in the first tour.
Yeah.
But I love it. So it feels like a little bit like a tour bubble where you are, because the band is your bros, and the crew, the whole family feels like doing in the same thing, and the atmosphere in the bus is really cool. And that whole bus is for your home for 2 weeks, so it's like a whole different world in a way.
Yeah. And as we are actually heading towards the like the current situation / the future plans part of the podcast, so you were planning a much bigger tour with Nightwish, right, before the COVID started. So of course, with COVID, everything kind of ceased in the music business. But as a professional musician, how vast was the effect in your life after everything stopped?
Well, I can't say it has been easy or anything like that. That there are really, really, really grim stories around the music scene right now.
Yeah.
But after the first shock, when we realized that we have to cancel everything and no idea when it will happen, now, besides the 2 tours that we have planned, we have already rescheduled or canceled like 62 shows in Finland only. So, and as you can imagine that those shows are still the main income for us as an artist as well. So you can only imagine what kind of sums of money that means as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm doing this artist thing like a full time, so that's a really, really big cut from my pay salary.
Yeah.
But most of all, it's like I think it's more affecting, at least for me, it's affecting more like who am I, because I really have been building myself, or the image of myself, as a touring artist.
Yeah.
I love to go on the stage, and it really felt bad that something like as a COVID just tore that from, or just took that away from me. And the main feeling that I can't do anything. I'm really fine that there are some hardships in life, but usually those hardships, you can beat them in a way. You can learn over them. You can do something about it.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. That's life. But I can't solve like a pandemic for this world.
Yeah, it's something that none of us could have like expected, even though there had been signs of that. Like the scientists have said that there was a high risk of this kind of thing happening, but it wasn't something that you would expect to happen in your lifetime still. But kind of you've been coping with doing live streams with Stereo Terror Djs. So tell us a little bit about that. So of course you've been doing that for several years in different kinds of events, doing like after party shows. But how did that end up on Twitch? Yeah.
Well, when all the shows were cancelled, of course, all our DJ shows were cancelled as well. And I just remember that we were talking with Henka, my colleague from the Stereo Terror, that let's do something, because we were really bored and a little bit depressed of the situation. And still, even though we can't do shows, we love to do the music. We love to listen to music. We love to play the instruments. We love all the aspects in the music. So we just thought about let's play the music. Even though without the shows, let's play some music.
Yeah.
And then we just, like, I thought that in the first shows, that first stream, that hey, why not let the people see when we play? More like a live rehearsal or something like that. We're
Yeah.
just playing the songs which we like and drank some beer. And then it's just like a, I don't know, it grew quite fast from that point to the production that we are having right now, with like a 10-member crew or something like that.
Yeah.
And we are doing like easily one of the biggest productions in Finland's Twitch scene right now. I don't even remember more. Like we just wanted to do that. We wanted to play music, and people started to tell us that they want to be part of it as well.
Yeah.
So quite fast we found ourselves in a situation that there were like thousands of people watching our streams, where we were just basically playing the music, pressing the play button,
Yeah.
and drinking beer and telling shitty jokes to each other. And then our crew, we had already crew before the COVID for our live shows. Then our crew told us that they want to do it more properly. I just remember the call that Samsara crew, our technician, called me, and that you can't do it like that. It can't look like that.
Yeah.
Give me some time. I will come with some equipment. And then suddenly we had the whole studio and light and video mixers, and everything just started to develop around that.
Yeah. And now you have a screen, video screen going on in the background, and you have had guest performances and everything like that. And I think that's been a part, like for every festival I have been to, like from Numirok to even like Nordic Metal Cruise, your show has been a part of that as well, in the sense that all the bands. So it's just like a natural continuum from the last band to going to your show. And a lot of people have been going to your shows. At least I haven't been the only one in the audience in Numerok or anything like that. So I think that when people also had to be at home and they couldn't go to the festivals, so you kind of brought an aspect of the festivals to everyone's living rooms with that show. And I think that has been working quite well, I think.
I think too. And when talking about those stream shows, I think it's really hard to copy the live feeling. You can't do it in the stream. So basically, when we started to talk about the stream shows, we quite fast wanted to do it differently. We didn't want to just like recreate live feeling.
Yeah.
We wanted to do it more interact. We wanted to have chats. We wanted to have some way to see what people are talking to us, or we wanted to talk to them. And it quite fast became more like a, let's say, late night show with the guests coming and different kind of entertaining stuff and all that happening.
Yeah.
More like we didn't even want to do like we would do it in live.
Yeah.
There are different things we do in stream and different things we do in live. And I think that's the main problem for the most of the bands too, who are doing those live streams. They, of course, I understand the situation is quite crappy, and to do like a really good production for a stream, it costs a lot of money. So it's not the easy one to go. And of course, even though you have like a really good production, there is no guarantee that it's going to be so many viewers that will pay it.
Yeah.
But most of the streams I've seen from bands are, at my point of view, it seems that they are trying to do like a live show in a stream show. And that's a really bad combination, because it's not live if there is no audience.
Yeah. And I think that I really enjoyed the Avatar, like the 4 stream show. It was like 4 weekends in January, and every weekend they had a different album that they played. But it wasn't just a stage that they played in, it was like more of a set. And that worked really well, in my opinion. But if it was like a stage and the cameras were filming like it was a live show, I don't think that I would have liked that as much as I did enjoy the kind of continuous set changes and everything like that. So I think that you have a point there, that I think it's about like not necessarily about not knowing to do that, but having like hesitations to change that too much, because not knowing what people think about that. But
Yeah, I think it too.
But let's talk a little bit about future plans then. You are in the works of publishing a new album with Fear of Domination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are
So
just basically we are looking for the date to. I can't even say too much about that, but of course we are constantly looking how this COVID is going on. But in the meantime, we have lots of good singles that we can drop out.
yeah,
It's cool that this kind of digitalization really helps in situations like this, because you can quite easily just drop out a single and keep the flow going.
yeah, and I think that's more common nowadays, to drop a lot of singles before the album than releasing the album straight away, even though some bigger bands do it. But I think that it has become like a natural thing to have several singles and exploring the scenery a little bit before releasing the album. But has the process of recording the album been different during COVID, or has it been the same uh, in terms of like writing the album and everything like that?
For us, it was quite similar, COVID or not. Still, it's like the basic principle is the same. We go to studio, we sit down, we start to record stuff. There's like no pandemic can change that. Well, like I say, it was a little bit different that we had a little bit bigger budget this time, and we were recording the whole album at Jyväskylä with Tuomas Kokko, and of course, because of the pandemic, there haven't been really much of tourists around there. So there are lots of villas and big cottages and all kind of I don't know what those are, like huviasuntoloita.
Yeah, I think that's like a luxury condo or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, something like those, and those were quite cheap because well, there are no tourists, so they are basically just empty. So we had like this one huge mansion with hot tubs and jacuzzis and saunas and stuff like that for like more like 2 weeks
Yeah.
with the studio. So it was like a fun to see that everybody, all our colleagues were like, oh, this whole COVID is so sucks, and where are the shows? And we were just basically sitting at a hot tub and recording new songs and
Yeah.
yeah, this life sucks right now really bad.
Yeah. So the reason that I asked that question is that it seems that some bands that have been touring a lot have had a little bit more time to like put on the record this time, even though they have been saying that of course we have not rushed the process like to damage the quality of the album. But has it been the case with you, like having a little bit more time to think about everything, or has it been always like that you have been putting as much effort as possible on the albums?
Well, now that you say it out loud, I think yeah, we had more time to focus really on the music, and we didn't have to do shows between the recording, so it was like a constant work with no pauses in it. But I think still the main thing was like a little bit damage to the flow, because when the COVID hit, people were dealing with the situation, dealing with this no show limitations and stuff like that. So in mentality of the band, like there were really bad days, let's say it this way, like not feeling it at all, really depressed feelings and at some point. So of course I think those were really good feelings to have. It was like a really good for each of the members to have a little moment for themselves and think why and how we are doing this, and the reasons why they want to be in the band, or the reasons why they want to make some music. And I think in the long run you can hear that in the album, because we had really time to focus to talk about those feelings and record with those feelings. So you can find the good things from this as well.
Yeah.
And of course, because of no shows, we had more time to focus on those feelings and really think what we want to do on the album.
Yeah. But you released a single, Dive Into I, quite recently with a music video, and you had a little bit of a new look on that. So was that kind of a part of the having more time situation, that you developed your looks a little bit more? Like, or is it because you had on the music video, you had like new outfits and everything? Is that something that we're going to see live when it's possible?
Yeah, sure. We just
Mm.
dropped like the new promo shoots as well. We had dropped a new
Yeah,
promo with all the masks and stuff
yeah,
like that. We have been talking about the masks for quite a long time, even before the COVID, because it's frustrating to put that paint all the time.
yeah.
So people were like saying, why won't we use like a mask? It would be like cool to have those masks.
Mm,
We always want to think what we want to do
mm,
with the band, what we want to look, what we want to sound. Like I said, there are no rules.
mm,
But now with the COVID and everything, we really had the time to focus on, okay, new album comes out, it sounds like this, well,
mm,
how we want to look. And in a way, it was like a more like a natural movement for us to. We have always been like a visual band. We always have
mm,
been focusing our efforts to the visual stuff. So, and now we are doing like a whole new album with the Meek in the drums, and that with two singers, and the whole aspect of the album is a little bit different to the previous
mm,
ones. So it's like a somebody said that it's like doing like a new skin, like snakes. They do a new skin for
mm,
themselves. So it was like a new skin for the band as well.
yeah. But I think that this interview comes in the beginning, comes out in the beginning of May. So is there something? Are you gonna release before that? We are recording this now in April. So is there gonna be another release before that, or are you gonna release another single a little bit later?
Well, I can tell you that we are going to release a new single, but I'm not sure it's out already at the beginning of the May. I think it's
Yeah.
somewhere around the middle of the May where we are going to release it.
Okay.
Let's see what the labels say.
Okay. So perhaps quite soon after, but let's keep that kind of we don't have this we don't have the date yet, so
Yeah.
perhaps it's straight after this, or maybe not. But
Someday.
yeah. But I think we're heading toward the end of the podcast. So if you have something to say to the viewers and listeners, now's the chance to do that.
Oh shit, I'm really crappy with these kind of things. That's something you would want to add.
Mm,
Well, one thing I've noticed is that people are complaining a lot. Of course, it's frustrating situation, this whole COVID, but I have always tried to be like the positive guy,
mm,
like at the glass half full.
mm,
Of course, there are moments for me when it's really hard, but I just really hope people that just keep their heads up and don't fall to despair. There are still lots of good things to come, and even though it sucks really bad right now,
mm,
this is still like a minor setback and a minor moment in our whole life. When you think of life as a one
mm,
big line, this is just like a little part from it. It
mm,
might be really hard to think of it that way right now, but I'm pretty sure like after 5 years or something, we are looking
mm,
back and okay, well that year sucked.
yeah,
But what about all those years before that and all the years after this?
yeah,
Already we are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm pretty
mm,
sure that in a way or another, we are starting to cope with this situation
mm,
and cope with this whole pandemic. It's not the end of the world, and you can't even see it from here.
mm. And I think that like things that you that kind of took for granted, like live shows and everything like that, as a from the point of view of a festival goer or a show goer, it's something that you appreciate a lot more after this situation is over. And at least the only festival that I attended last summer was Saarihelvetti, and it felt so good after a lot of like months and months of not having any live shows. And I can already imagine how good it will feel after being able to see live shows again, and of course from your perspective to perform again live.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just simply cannot even imagine the feeling when I when I'm allowed to step back on the stage and just be really there on the stage with the band and see all those peoples in the horizon and all the euphoria and the moment when we're all feeling as one. It's going to be magical. It's going to be really magical. I'm really waiting for it.
Yeah, I think that's a good note to stop this or end this podcast with. So thanks for listening and watching, and stay safe out there.
Thank you.